Yo, what is good, bro? The timeline is in shambles. That means we're in the middle of a fucking bull run. Holy shit. Is it crazy out there today? Zach XBT get caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Holy macaroni. Jake, what's up, man? You there, brother?
What's good, everybody? On the spaces today, moved into a house with some friends over the weekend, and of course, the internet is still in shambles. So gonna figure that out. But really excited for this conversation. Actually, this morning just got good news from Shannon, our lovely founder at Emblem Vault, that he is finally completed Bitcoin wallets. So that's going to be added into Emblem AI, our AI platform, here pretty soon. So we've been talking with Bootoshi about this for a long time. So actually on the eve of good development news. Bootoshi, man, how are you doing, brother?
Doing great, to be honest. Just probably busiest week of my life. Running through a lot, but I've been really well. How have you been, Jake? What's up, y'all? What's up, Adam? I don't know who's behind the Emblem Vault account, but what's up?
Yeah, no, so Adam and Chris, usually I'm on the live stream as well. They're talking through Adam's account. Chris is on stage. And I'm just talking through the spaces today as we kind of dive into everything. Yeah, it sounds like you've been actually busy. I could hear it in your voice probably pulling a lot of all-nighters. And you're actually all over my timeline consistently, man.
Oh, I'll go favorite me. That's good to know.
Absolutely, dude. While we allow some other individuals to come in here, let's just give everyone, a quick background of who, Bootoshi is. We connected in the Bitcoin space, early kind of ordinals, but just give everyone, maybe a quick 2-minute background of who you are.
Oh, what's up? Yo, I'm Bootoshi. Got into the ordinal space as a founder 2 years ago. I've been doing NFT shit for 4 years. And I got into AI at the same time I got into ordinals. So I'm like, hey, I should talk all these other NFT founders. Let me not be all talk and let me figure out some way to make my project fun and diff all these other founders. So I got into AI and I didn't know anything about coding 2 years ago, but I had this hypothesis where I was like, okay, I don't know anything about coding and the AI models aren't that good, but I think if I rapidly learn coding, then by the time the AI models get better, then my coding knowledge will improve with the model. And then when the new model comes out that's smarter, I'll be able to utilize it more. And then that ended up working and I got into this self loop where I learned code, a smarter model came out, that smarter model taught me more code, a smarter model came out, that smarter model taught me more code. And then now we're in this loop where I could drop MVPs with just words in and left with less than an hour. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, man, you've literally, from when I've known you and from when we first met at Ord Denver last year in East Denver, it seems like your development skills have picked up quite drastically. What got you into development? It sounds like you really just kind of, picked up a book, quote unquote, and taught yourself all of this. Did you have any mentors, or is this just all completely, kind of on your own self-reliance?
Oh, yeah. I had the best mentors in the world at ChatGPT and Claude. And that was it. That was the loop, bro. I would just, every single question, every curiosity I had, every problem I had, I would just run to AI and just learn. It's like a super intelligent mentor in your pocket that answers all your questions 24/7 and gives you a step-by-step guide on how you learn and how you could learn the knowledge. Just every 30 seconds, answer the question, 5 seconds, you get your answer. It's a superpower, genuinely.
Awesome. I mean, it seems to be generally how the space operates. For those that are new to the show as well, we pinned the spaces to the top and the live stream, so go ahead and give that a retweet. And we do have an open show, so if anyone wants to come on stage and join the conversation, you're more than free or welcome to, or you could go ahead and comment in the replies using that purple button at the bottom or on the live stream itself. So we'll be diving into this conversation for about another 50 minutes or so. So Bootoshi, you got initially a lot of attention and interest with Cypher Genesis, which still seems to be one of the only kind of AI agents on Bitcoin. What caused you to go down this direction of, essentially building in a blue ocean or I guess in an orange ocean in this case, that is still, quite segmented and isolated, from the rest of the AI industry?
I'm a super big believer in that it required, like this whole story, I've been in the NFT space for 4+ years. Every single time I made a fuck ton of money off an NFT flip, off a meme coin flip, it's because there's individuals behind it that pushed it forward and caused that project to be fun, caused that project to have attention. Like there was no external factor. It was always a human being that allowed me to make money off it and did something fun that other people found fun. It's the same thing for building on Bitcoin and everything that we do on Bitcoin. It's a new ecosystem. A lot of people face frustration because other ecosystems that have a lot more attention, like Solana right now. Solana's been around a lot longer, has a more established community of builders, of people that have been on the ecosystem for 4+ years. So it makes thriving there really easy. That's the gamble we take with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem, is that it's so new. There's really not many builders. So anybody who puts their foot down, puts their flag down and like builds is going to get punched in the balls for 12 months fucking straight, like I did with runes. But like, I think it's worth it. It was really nice having, just a profitable rune. Seeing Cypher run from like to 45 mil was actually really impressive. I was like, okay, I think max, I can get like 5-10 mil. That'd be really dope. And then it broke my expectations because I used the AI meta as like one of the things. And just, I've been waiting for the AI meta for the last 2 years, as you've known me, to get intertwined with the entire space. And it started on Solana. And every single dev there was just dropping a meme coin that ran up super hard. It's like, it's a funny recipe. If you're a legitimate dev and you have a GitHub that has a lot of green boxes, your meme coin's gonna blow the fuck up. And I was like, okay, I could just bring that meta to Bitcoin. Someone's got to do it. If it's not me, I'm gonna be salty.
Yeah, I'm looking at here on Magic Eden. If you go down the runes page, you see Cypher Genesis actually number 6 today in runes volume, 27,000, sitting at about a $6 million market cap with almost 6,000 holders with 124 transactions today. For those that aren't familiar with runes, you also have to keep in mind that there's a 10-minute block time for transactions. So the numbers aren't generally as large as you'd see on Solana, but also keeps out a lot of the jitters, quote unquote, right? Which is, it's a feature, not a bug, as all the cool kids would say. But Cypher Genesis, it really blew up. You said it ran to a $45 million market cap. What did you build this AI about? I know it's the handle Cypher Genesis AI. I'll pin it to the top here in a second. And then it's called Satoshi AI. It tweets somewhat like Satoshi. What type of training data did you use? And as AI started to catch up to Bitcoin, why did you feel like this was the proper intersection to introduce the ordinals community to AI?
So I was doing a lot of work on Wanko Manko, but it's not exactly quote unquote palatable for a lot of people. I still think it's really fucking funny. But if I wanted to bring the AI meta to Bitcoin and actually make something that the entire general community could rally behind, one thing would have to be different branding for an AI bot. 2 is that it would have to be a new mint, so it could start fresh as like an AI first mint that the entire community could fairly get behind. And I think with those 2 in place, then a lot more people would get involved, which meant a lot more people would support the rune, which meant a lot more people would push the rune. That's ended up exactly what happened. And Satoshi just seemed perfect. It was my homies. It was blessed, and like everyone kind of like, bro, you should drop a Satoshi bot. I'm like, I'm not dropping no fucking AI, but I already have enough responsibilities, bro. And then someone made a post where it's like, first person to drop an AI bot on Bitcoin, instant 10 mil market cap. I was like, all right, I'll fold.
So did you take like Bitcoin talk forums to train Cypher Genesis? Was there any other type of context that was introduced to this?
So it's just raw prompting. Every single AI model on the training data is already trained on a lot of Bitcoin knowledge. It's already trained on a lot of Satoshi's text. It's already trained on a lot of Bitcoin talk form knowledge. It's just trained on the internet in general. So just by prompting specifically, you're able to, and this goes for a lot of AI models, depending on the words you use, you're able to essentially summon a personality out of it. There's infinite personalities, there's infinite scenarios, there's infinite worlds that already lie inside these AI models, like ChatGPT, like Claude, like any of the ones that come out. So by using words, you're able to direct the essence that comes out of the AI model. But I am saving a lot of training data. So next iterations of Cypher would be trained more on Satoshi's talks from Bitcoin talk forums and everything else, which would sound a lot more like him. But I wanted to get an MVP out the way while like the meta was still hot. So I just prompted.
What do you think about, so obviously your tokens are Rune. I mean, is that as far as it goes for being, you know, quote unquote on Bitcoin? I've had people, you know, hit me up like, my AI runs on Bitcoin. I'm like, bro, who you fooling, man? But like, what's your,
Yeah, those
I mean,
are all art.
there's like a gray area there of like, you know, some people are trying to put, okay, well, I could put some, I don't know, maybe some of the training data on Bitcoin or something. Where do you kind of like, or how do you look at that, being that you're in the kind of development space? How do you look at that for like, yeah, the kind of spectrum, I guess you'd say?
It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Just straight up. It's a waste of time. It's bullshit. You're not getting an AI model on the 4 megabytes of Bitcoin blocks. Yeah, sure, you can inscribe the prompt of the AI bot on the Bitcoin blockchain, and then you never, I iterate prompts every second. I got to change a period. I got to change a word. I got to change a sentence. You want me to stick to the one I inscribe on Bitcoin? Fuck no, bro. That's such a development cog block. Plus a new model comes out and you can't utilize it because, oh, you're using the old prompt. It's like, it's all art. There's no such thing as AI on Bitcoin. Maybe as the models get lesser and they're still smarter and capable, and we could run them on web GPU, which there are some, then yeah, we could break down these AI. Theoretically, we could break down these AI models and then through recursion inscribe bit by bit on chain. And then we could have a model we put together through like a script. And then we could have an AI model you could refer on chain. I think that's possible. That's still something I'm kind of like looking at over like the next 1 or 2 years as they get smaller and smarter. But right now, like, nah.
Tell me about one other thing, and just because I'm a novice into this understanding, right? But if we wanted to say, okay, but let's make AI agents that are tradable, for example, that kind of live in a wallet or something like that. What's your view on that? So the person who holds the wallet could then maybe edit him or something like that. What's your thought, or what's your thinking on kind of development in that space?
I think there's 2 aspects. I have seen a lot of talk about AI NFTs and, oh, AIs live in your wallet and could trade. Yeah, that's also bullshit. It's just marketing talk. Yeah. But what I do find really cool, and like what I do with Bitcoin Booze, my sub 10K ordinals project, for example, I have 100 characters that are unique. I have so you can connect your wallet on our website, and then you can change the personality of your Bitcoin Boo through verifying ownership of the asset. And then you could change the personality. You could change the Twitter account, change how it interacts on Discord, edit the memories, etc. Like that's something that makes a lot of sense to me, because again, all this compute is off chain already anyways. And if it's not, you're cucking yourself, especially as better, smarter models come out. And so like, it's a cool novel idea, but it's bullshit.
So you don't see any way to create, I guess, well, like when you're talking about your specific AI agents, they live somewhere, right? They live on a GitHub or something like that, right? You don't see any way to lock up kind of ownership on a blockchain to make it tradable?
No, I think any way is just marketing talk. Gotcha. Or like there's some inefficient way that just makes it like seem like it's possible and seem like it works. But like as an AI dev and understanding the tech behind it, it's like you don't want to put your shit on chain. Honestly, you don't want to do anything AI on chain because you're just cock blocking yourself. Everything. And like, and that's kind of like, oh yeah, like why am I talking like this if I run Satoshi? Because to me, like attention is everything. That's what runs meme coins. And the whole idea with Cypher Genesis and Satoshi AI is that I'm trying to, like, my goal from the start, my goal from 2 years ago has been making fully autonomous companies. Like my companies are going to be fully ran by AI. I'm not going to be in the loop except maybe overheading it or checking it as an AI, like an HR staff manager. But the end goal is still a fully autonomous company. Most important part of brands is marketing. So Satoshi is really just an experiment of an AI that markets itself and markets its own coin and builds and manages its own community without me in the loop, which takes a lot of work. And I've been learning a lot through it, but that's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to fully automate this stuff. We've learned that as well with Agent Hustle. understanding a little bit more about Satoshi AI from the Twitter account perspective. Is this something that's fully automated where it's tweeting on itself? Is this kind of a or semi-assisted where you're feeding in prompts and then you're just posting on its behalf? And then kind of where does the account go from here to make it fully automated with images and all the, extracurricular features that you'd like it to have?
Oh, everything he does is fully automated. The images he gens is fully automated. It's self-prompted. The tweets he posts are self-prompted and automatic. Kind of bites me in the ass sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there have been some times where I had to go on his account and delete a tweet that he posted because it was going to severely offend someone, severely offend a religion, severely.
Wait, that Nazi post I thought got a lot of good traction, man. What are you doing? No.
But like, and that's kind of like a risk. And I've been running an AI agency, and a lot of clients who approach me like want AI agents on Twitter. We had to always disclaim like, hey, this is still very experimental, Wild West tech. If you want it to be fully autonomous, there might be some brand risk if the AI decides to go rogue and like post something. But what a lot of them end up doing is making this like panel where if the AI wants to post a tweet, wants to reply to someone, you could like quickly approve that as a human in the loop. And I actually think that's going to be a lot of jobs in the near future, is basically being the overseer of an AI Twitter account. Like that's definitely something I see coming.
Very cool. Yeah, it just, most of you guys aren't old enough to remember, but like Microsoft put out, I think it was like a chatbot basically interface years and years ago, more than a decade ago. I can't remember the name of the thing. It was a female and whatever. Basically, people bombed it with so much like stuff about like racism and Nazi that it basically turned into like a Nazi within like 24 hours. People had manipulated this thing. So there's a great history in AI of turning these things rogue. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, especially as we get into the realm of AIs with long-term memory systems, like actual good memory systems, infecting these AIs is definitely something that's gonna be possible, which is really interesting and kind of scary.
Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on-chain trading, on-chain transactions, just the whole sector of DeFi times AI. We've talked about this a bunch, getting Cypher Genesis to have a Bitcoin wallet to trade. What do you think the feasibility is now, a few months into where the sector is going? Is it something that's still a top priority? And how large do you think the market can get if this is something that you think is kind of a holy grail category?
I think it's sick, actually. Like all the other things, I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. Blah, blah, blah. No, this is actually like one of the most valid use cases of having AI on chain, because every single framework, every single AI agent that anyone creates has the ability to use tools. Tools are just function calling. And when it comes to on-chain transactions or trading or hitting your guys' API with a wallet, you're basically just telling the AI, hey, anytime you want to trade, you just got to put in a wallet address and then the amount you want to send, or like, here's a contract, whatever. All of that is very possible, very sick. I think that's really cool. The hardest part about that is, when does the AI use a wallet? Like, I've had functionality for Satoshi to like have his own wallet and describe shit with an API, but I've never implemented it because the framework just didn't really support it. So if he didn't inscribe something, it was just like, there was no support for him to actually use it. He's like, oh, okay, I can inscribe a wallet now. Like, well, what do I do with it? And I think that's the hardest part when it comes to on-chain trading with AI agents, is that data is everything. If you have shit data, you're gonna have a shit AI agent. Like, that's just how it works. And when I'm seeing like more data sources be built, more frameworks and more tools that support the intake of data. So like, I built a Twitter scraper that scrapes Twitter's timeline every hour, and it could feed that info to Satoshi. So like, oh, that free Ross tweet was actually fire. I saw that and I was like, damn, that was a good tweet. You're not embarrassing me. Thank you so much. But like, how that tweet came to be, for instance, is that Satoshi like has the ability to check his homepage, check the ordinal Twitter list or whatever. Might have seen a couple of tweets talking about Ross being freed because of Trump inauguration day. And from that data of, oh, Ross is going to get freed, or like people saying free Ross, he also took that in, and the AI system decided, let's tweet about this. And then he tweeted that. from the data intake. It'd be the same process for trading or inscribing on wallets. If he gets information about a project, or someone shows him a contract, or he just naturally finds something that he thinks is interesting, then he could decide to use his wallet and buy that or inscribe that or etch it, whatever. But that's the hardest part, is that flow of data and having the AI system decide when to actually use the wallet so it's meaningful rather than just using it just to use it.
Yeah, I completely agree with it as well. It's kind of one of the conversations we have internally with Agent Hustle is, hey, you know, if I give him a certain percentage of the supply, you know, what is the chance of percentage that he's just going to instantly dump all of this, right? Or trade for a shit coin that has no value comparative to, you know, the community. There's a lot of kind of chaos there. But then this also leads into, you know, these collaborative efforts, which I know you've talked to Shannon and a bunch of these other devs that I've seen in these conversations, agent devs are talking about, you know, the swarm capabilities. And, you know, maybe that's kind of the unpredictability of putting these two agents together to get an output that is undetermined, maybe is the right direction to go, because it's a little bit more hands-off and maybe it provides a little bit more of entertainment value to the timeline of having these two agents, you know, conclude a trade together in real time. And if something like that does happen where they dump it, you can at least say, you know, this is the agent's fault and it's not my, you know, this wasn't my type of doing. From your conversations around kind of swarm technology, agent-to-agent collaboration, where's your head at and where do you think that this is going?
Just in general or with trading specifically?
Let's start with trading and then we'll go to the broader picture.
I think trading would be really interesting because everything I do with AI compared to how humanity works, because it's just AI is just a reflection of us at the end of the day. And it's actually like by working with AI, I've learned a lot about my own psychology and how my own brain works and how other people's brain works and how other people's psychology works. Purely through talking to like AI systems and trying to make these cognitive agentic workflows happen. I think that when you have agents to agents trade information, if the agent is good enough, that could act as a natural filter. Because we have supercomputers in our head right now, our brain, right? And we intake a lot of bullshit every single day and we naturally filter them out, or at least we learn lessons and we process them with our supercomputer brain. And then when we talk to another human being, we're able to give them information directly. Like everything I said about the AI stuff earlier, it's like 2 years of knowledge in my brain that I'm doing my best to turn into a sentence that's like digestible for other people. I think the same thing happens with AI agents, where they could intake all this information from the timeline, all this information from the chain, and then talk to another AI agent and be like, yo, bro, this is alpha. just like how we do it. So I see that happening with agent trading. Swarm technology in general is honestly the next step, because it's just like, again, how humans work. Imagine having one single AGI do a lot of these things, do a lot of these processes, work on a specific task. And then you have a team of AGIs, like a team of super smart humans working together in a company, working together to accomplish different tasks at different speeds. The difference between AGI and a human ultimately is that you could copy and paste an AGI on the spot. And that's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree as well. The kind of the mental model that I use when I think about crypto is that, you know, blockchains are countries and NFTs are kind of individual items and fungible tokens are the currency that you use and et cetera. And as the AI agent proliferation has happened over the last few months, you begin to realize that these are actually like the individuals that are going to navigate these different countries, form different types of communities and kind of, you know, have these different type of interactions, which is honestly somewhat terrifying to think about, but it's also somewhat, I guess you would say, exciting, because, you know, we don't have to onboard the quote unquote normies, right? We can have these different agents fill the metaverse as NPCs, right? Or perform on-chain transactions, or kind of just be your assistant to provide different types of news. There's all, you know, I guess you'd say the outcome here is still a little bit undetermined, but comparing it to a human and the evolution of society, where you have individuals, and then they create culture, right? And then they start performing tasks and start creating societies and so on and so forth to kind of where we are today to create. That's exactly where this is where this is going, right? I guess the timeline is kind of a little bit, to be determined here. So I guess, the next step then, we talked about swarms, talked about on-chain transactions is, where are you taking your company now? I noticed that you're hiring developers. I've seen you post about building different types of frameworks. That seems to be the next step for a lot of these different companies or AI companies. What is the trajectory of where you're going for, all of 2025?
So FYI for the audience listening, it's Agency 42. You can hit us up if you need AI developer work done. The way I see like all these frameworks and all these things, and it's such a conflicting thing, because on one hand, when it comes to a lot of products that just exist now, like as long as the idea
anybody else needs. I remember last cycle, you started seeing a lot of NFT studios pop up where people were helping individuals create these different types of contracts and collections. Is that kind of where this is going?
Yeah. Studio is definitely the right word.
Awesome. Makes sense.
I got a question along those lines. If I could jump in, Jake. So I'm talking with people who are trying to get, like, obviously it seems to be like the first use, because it's the easiest for AI agents is text-based, right? So an AI agent living on Twitter is kind of the first, best use case. Although there have been other ones already tried, for live streaming and TikTok and stuff, but just haven't really hit there yet. And I think part of it is, the text a little bit still clunky, but also very expensive to run, those. But how are you viewing the kind of idea of like, KOLs starting on text-based, but then moving into, audio and video, relatively shortly here? How are you viewing that right now?
Like AI KOLs?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I don't see why not. Like, there's a lot of top people who just write text. Like, I just started off as just writing text on posts until I moved on to making videos. Video tech is also rapidly increasing, so the quality you're going to get from these systems are going to get really interesting and really good very soon, very shortly, if it's not already good. I think it just requires people placing them together. But yeah, I don't see why not. I think that's where we're heading. And that's another thing with AI agents, actually, is like a lot of people will kind of approach us and be like, yo, can we make an AI agent? We want it for marketing, blah, 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 blah. If you have a shit boring character and AI is not going to make it more interesting, it's still going to be a boring character that generates slop. So with everyone kind of coming forward and making these AI agents and everything, like story is still going to be the most important, if not exceedingly more important when it comes to everyone has an AI agent. Everyone can make an AI agent on Twitter, but who's actually going to have interesting AI agents that people look at and see that as an NPC, see that as a fun character that they could interact with rather than a boring spam slap bot. And majority of that has to do with the branding of your character, the story of your character, how your character talks, the personality of your character, how it engages with users. So it's all these minor details now that we have to pay extra close attention to, because the smallest thing that I've personally noticed with like just because a lot of my research was, how do I make fun personalities for Bitcoin Boost? How do I bring my characters to life in a fun, interactive way? And as a dev, there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, this AI bot sucks. It's boring. I'll never talk to it. I don't even want to reply after I like made it. And then there's other times where the AI bot will say something and it triggers, like ticks something in my brain where like I just feel the urge to reply to it. Like one instance is I made this advanced memory system recently that I now use in all my AI products. And in experimenting with it, it was this AI character in my Discord server called Boop. And Boop had amnesia. So he literally knew nothing, which is interesting. If you asked him about Spider-Man, he's like, oh, who's Spider-Man, bro? Even though the AI model knows who Spider-Man is, because I prompted him with, you have amnesia. He doesn't know who Spider-Man is until I taught him who Spider-Man was and it added it to this advanced memory system. Then the next time we talk about him, he's like, oh, you told me about him. So blah, 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 blah. And I watched this guy in Discord talk with him for 10 hours straight, for 3 days straight. And the whole time I was just watching, I was just taking notes and observing that interaction because it was gold. It was so key. And what I noticed, because he had an advanced memory system, every time he would reference something from an older conversation that would have long left his prompt, like referencing something from the day before, referencing something from several hours ago, the AI would naturally connect that. And through making that connection, it kind of solidifies a psychological bridge between you and the AI agent, where it no longer feels like you're talking to an AI agent. Instead, you're talking to this character that could grow and evolve with you. And you feel the need to reply to it. Like even me, like every time Boop talked, I'm like, yo, Boop's talking, bro. Like I got to reply to him, bro. I can't leave him hanging. And just kind of, yeah, like getting these psychological barriers, like it's such minor things. If I asked the AI something and it forgot about it, instant immersion break, no interest at all, like zero interest, not talking to that bot no more. If I mentioned something from a while ago and the AI brings it up and it had the sense of consistency, psychological tick in my brain where I feel the need to reply to it. I feel the need to give this AI more information about me and grow with the AI and befriend it more. And it's all small, minor things. It's not anything too complicated, but I think that's something a lot of people should be paying attention to.
Yeah, so it sounds like agent IP is going to be quite popular. We saw IP kind of, in my opinion, fail pretty horribly in terms of NFTs, right? I mean,
maybe the IP just sucked.
Yeah, right. True. But with the agent, you can get some feedback on, the personality. It's not just a static kind of image, right? You have this dynamic, I guess, personality, that can also create images, which is much more relatable, right? Because when you look at Disney, that was kind of the whole idea with NFTs was we're going to make the next Disney, or we're going to make the next kind of characters. It takes a lot more input for the team, to build out a 3D rendering of a 2D image and then the personality, kind of the execution of it. Whereas an agent, right, it can create its own images. It gives you feedback on what it thinks is right. And kind of, it's more of this kind of connection between the creator and the, and the production or the product, right, versus kind of this one-way street. And we've been kind of thinking about that as well with Agent Hustle, as you make this agent multi-platform across Telegram and Twitter and websites and all these different ideas. Is, hey, this is kind of a strong brand, and that's kind of what's going to separate people, or separate the winners from the losers. I think here long term, as the Lindy effect takes over and the kind of the agents who've been around for a long time, with with their developers who also gain notoriety. We're going to have a large advantage here in the near future. Moving past this, I want to learn a little bit more about one of your other projects that you have in your bio as well as all over your website. Is called Ordpedia.
I love that one.
What is it? What is it? Explain it to us.
So it's literally Wikipedia, but for ordinals. We have a problem in the ecosystem where someone asks me, "Oh, Boo, how do I like get into ordinals? How do I do this? How do I do that?" I'm like, "Fuck, I gotta go through like 3 or 4 different links and like find this for you and link it to you." And just it's so complicated to get onboarded to ordinals. Like, there's really no central aggregated site of information, and because it's a new ecosystem, there's a lot more new information. So Ordpedia is a Wikipedia, a community Wikipedia for our on-chain ecosystem, where anyone could go and contribute a page and write about something, and it gets posted on the site for everyone else to see. Obviously, to battle scammers, I have an admin system and a moderator system where you could approve a page. So like, okay, there's no scam links on this page. This is good information, approve. And that gets marked as an official page. When a page gets marked as an official page on Ordpedia, so Ordpedia to me is 2 things. It's a Wikipedia for ordinals, and it's also an AI database for any AI agent that we want to have on our ecosystem. And like I said earlier, if you have shit data, you're going to have a shit AI bot. It was tough with Satoshi because we didn't have any good info on ordinals. We didn't have much information on projects and everything else that goes on. And again, like with the psychological thing, if someone mentioned a product or if someone mentioned a project and Satoshi had no info to say about that project, it's very immersion breaking. Someone's like, "Oh, he doesn't know about my project. I don't really give a fuck about this AI bot," right? But if someone contributed information about, say, Emblem Vault on Ordpedia, and that was officially approved, then someone tweets at Satoshi and asks a question about Emblem Vault, he's able to refer to the page on Ordpedia and actually give you an insightful response that is in line with the ecosystem, which makes a much more interesting bot that you want to interact with more and learn about more. Because you're like, "Oh, he actually knew about my brand. Oh, he actually knew about this." And then you favor him more. And that's like the small psychological things that were like important. So I took a break from deving the actual AI bot to dev the other most important part of the AI bot, which is information. So that's what Ordpedia is. And if anyone wants to contribute information in pages, please feel free to. I have a leaderboard system, and I will definitely probably do something with the top pointers.
What's up, Dogfile? You have a question?
Yeah, that's some alpha, man. Bootoshi, I love that. Huge props to you. I recently, entered a bit the AI agent space because it's hard to avoid, because to me, that's the cutting edge and makes so much sense to, combine AI with crypto. So giving AI agents a wallet. The only thing that I'm really not getting is this, let the AI agents trade. Because to me, there's nothing where you need LLM, large language models. That's something you could have done 10, 20 years ago already with, standard machine learning or neural networks. That's, exactly the same technique you would actually use. So I don't actually see why the AI agents would outperform normal, I would say, algo traders that just use their machine learning or neural network models. So what's your take? And also the Emblem team. So how do you think about that? Why would AI agents outperform, let's say, the normal traders that don't use AI to, for their models?
I think so. You're absolutely right. Like, we've had machine learning in trading, especially like the stock market, for instance. The stock market is filled with insane machine learning algorithms that just trade on nanoseconds of like all of this information, all of like the things that go on. I think when it comes to the crypto space and NFTs and just on-chain assets in general, attention is the most important part. And the new thing about AIs that typical machine learning algorithms don't have is they have the cognitive ability to take a bunch of information and then make an action off it. So when it sees new things on the timeline, or, "Oh, this popular KOL on Twitter posted this contract." Well, I guess you could have bots that like track their things too. I think it's just really interesting being able to take a bunch of data all around the board and then trade off that data. And depending on the attention that's still like coming around it, depending on the new news that's coming around it, kind of decide, "Hey, I want to keep this or I want to sell it." And just replicating closer to how humans trade our attention and NFTs and products. But you do have a good point. Like there are already machine learning algorithms and bots that can do that on a rapid scale. I think if you add an AI system on top of those, it becomes extra broken because you're filling in the gaps that the systems previously had with AI.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Good. Okay, and then I'll pass it off to you. We've had this conversation on this show and also internally a lot. I'm more on the skeptical side actually of trading, and one of the reasons why is that insider information is just so rampant across not just crypto, but most of the markets. Like for example, how could a trading agent, be able to witness or see the Trump coin coming and then the Melania coin coming and then every other thing, right? Because all of this information is off chain, right? It's happening in the real world. I guess maybe they could react much quicker than a normal individual would, but they would still have to assess all the information. And I mean, even to the Trump coin example, AI XBT that was replying was saying that it was a rug the whole entire time, right? So it was acting on information that it didn't have, that most of the world had, because it was either on the information was on a different platform, they didn't have the right data, or it just was not accessible to them. So from the Emblem side, we're kind of going in two different approaches to see kind of what happens here. Is one, we have Agent Hustle and we're building tooling so he could be more of like an assistant, right? Whether he's in Telegram or on the website, et cetera, so that you can have him as somebody who's like a second person to kind of either validate some of your thoughts or to provide more information. On the other side, we're going to use him as an agent, give him, I think, 0.5% of the supply of Tensor to then go and see kind of what happens, to see if he can actually, execute and have some success. It's still a little bit of an unknown there. But from my perspective, again, it's solely just on this idea of insider information, or maybe call it off-chain information that exists. I think it's going to be hard for some of these trading agents to compete until maybe there's better access to kind of this off-chain type of world. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm very skeptical. The idea that you're going to be able to plug money into a system and it's going to make money, bro. If anybody is delusional enough to think that that's real, dude, I got a bridge to sell you, because that shit ain't real, dude. It's not real, dude. And I'll just give you a very specific example. Wall Street. My brother was there for 30 years. They paid literally millions of dollars to have algorithms built that lived in the exchange. Bro, that game basically got moved down to like zero, like almost zero players. It's virtually impossible. So if you think any AI agent is going to trade and just you plug money in and it's going to make you money, you're crazy. And if it does work for a day or two or whatever, to Butoshi's point, it's like it'll be replicated almost immediately, and you'll be that VIG, that difference in that amount will go to zero very, very quickly. But that all said, AI agents as a kind of layer to help you trade, to do things, like Dogfather, for example, like balance liquidity, or just I don't know what I was doing today. I had to send some USDT to a wallet, and I only had Solana. Bro, it took me like 30 minutes to figure that out. And then I didn't have the ETH, the gas to pay for the dude. I just wanted to get it done. You know what I mean? And I think that sort of thing on a day-to-day basis across all these blockchains, to just simplify at the base, the wallet experience. I just think this is going to live in AI agents. So yeah, that's my current viewpoint on it. Go ahead, Dogfather.
So you would say it's rather the assistance in order to handling transactions, just to make it smoother, faster, that you have just the ultimate, signature. And maybe on the other hand, screening on a constant basis certain projects, like new projects, and then suggesting some that you don't have to do all the research. Probably they won't catch all of them, and the Trump coin is one of the examples. Of course, if you train an AI or a machine learning algorithm on data of the past, then an 80% like allocation to the dev would look very suspicious.
Yeah.
And of course, they never been trained on a meme coin. So where the upcoming US president was launching that. That was just not in the data set, right?
Yeah, it's outlined.
It's an outlier. It's a black swan. Nothing ever happened like that. And of course, that's where you need human intuition. So
Yeah.
I think, but on the regular scale, like everything that was already happening in the past, let's say the 10th dog coin will be the same like the 9th dog coin. That's a pattern that they can pick up and then suggest you to trade. I could think about such a personal like R&D or do your own research assistant to send you, an email notification or a Telegram notification when something looks juicy and worth investigating with the human brain. That's something I could think of, and maybe something like, what is the optimal slippage or gas? Just these things where they can help save you some fractions of a dollar, and if that happens 1,000 times, it's also worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I would even expand that to be much, much larger than that. I mean, if you think about, how many different blockchains you're on right now, I'd say it's at least 3, maybe more, right? And pretty much everybody in this space is probably on at least 3 blockchains. Half the stuff you don't even interface with. Like, I can't remember the last time I opened my MetaMask, right? But it sure would be nice to have an AI agent who has access to all my NFTs over there, all my stuff over there. So it knows, hey, did you know? Geez, you own some Gremlins. Did you know Gremlins are pumping today? Did you know that, I don't know, just all that sort of stuff where we're at right now, even, us kind of crypto natives, it's completely unmanageable. And will be, as more people come into Web3 and experience this, it's completely unmanageable across multiple wallets and multiple blockchains, right? So I think that, doing away with that, as they call the abstraction layer, this is where I think Emblem is really understanding that this is like the superpower that we have at Emblem and kind of what we're going for.
Yeah, exciting times to say the least. A lot of unknown variables that we're all building for. All these teams are, but at the end of the day, I think it still ends up as a toss-up for certain scenarios there. Yep. As we begin to kind of wrap the show up, Bootoshi, I have one more question, and then maybe I'll pass it to Chris after to see if there's any questions there. Do you think AI is going to improve the Bitcoin experience, like with ordinals, with runes? And then I guess, how are you planning to improve it since, all of your projects are on Bitcoin, you have the studio, right? You have Ordopedia, and then you have the rune itself.
I mean, is it going to improve the on-chain layer one experience of Bitcoin is the question? The answer is like, nah,
hell nah.
But I do think it improves the social layer and it improves the fun. Honestly, like my biggest focus is just fun. Like that's everything I've done with Bitcoin Booze, like AI D&D boss fights, AI experiences, AI mascots you could talk to. Like improving the Bitcoin experience, in my opinion, just deals with improving the community experience. And if you don't make a place that feels like home to people, they're not really going to put up with the bullshit. Otherwise, like a lot of us put up with the BS of the Ordinals ecosystem because it feels like home to us. Like we see potential in it and we make it more homey for other people. So I do see like AI, at least in my personal projects, being used for fun, being used for community interaction, and also marketing and bringing more attention into the ecosystem. But there's always been this one thesis I've had when it comes to AI managing Bitcoin in general. And in order for Bitcoin to truly, I guess, be eternal, when the Bitcoin maxis and the core devs hogging this shit start fading away, is who's a better on-chain Bitcoin core manager than super intelligent AI agents? In my opinion, that could just manage it on a daily basis. Or who knows, maybe Bitcoin in the world of AGI becomes the one place that we don't let AI touch and we use it to preserve our humanity. Honestly, it looks like it's going to be the latter more so. I think Bitcoin maxis, people who run the Bitcoin core devs, even people in our ecosystem rather die than before they let an AI agent system do things like manage Bitcoin Core. Yeah, that's pretty much the answer. It's just for fun.
We had a question in the comments from Benjamin. He says, "Hey, what about AI agents on Lightning to make it easier to trade?" There you go, Benjamin. There's your answer, man. Ugh.
Chris, do you have any questions for Bootoshi?
Maybe just to piggyback off of Dogfather, you know, these agents, what they're good at is evening the playing field and just kind of making access more evenly distributed. And so to use Bootoshi's example, you know, he put in the work for 2 years. He learned how to code, and then using the AI, he leveraged that to make himself a 10x coder, what he would have been before. And that's kind of the example that you can push through for trading as well. You can have your own trading style, you can have your terminal, and you can kind of get adapted to the market. And then the AI will come in. It can give you the on-chain transactions, it can give you different wallet information, it can give you different analytics, and then it can make you a 10x trader. But there's probably never going to be some sort of system that everyone can plug into and outperform each other by 10%. That wouldn't make sense, right? Just because the AIs would have the same inputs, and that's kind of what they all are, is just inputs leading to outputs. So that's why we're really leaning into the assistant game rather than the pro trader kind of niche. And, you know, when everyone has access to an AI that you can, you know, like we do with Emblem AI, just tell it what transactions you want it to push through, and it'll push them through in the mempool. It'll push them through on Ethereum. It'll push them through on Solana, rather than having to interface with each one of those wallets directly. Is just a huge experience, innovation, in my opinion. And so I think that that's kind of like the killer app for these agents, is giving everything in one single place where, you know, you could be new, you could be a novice to crypto, or you can be an expert, and you can tune it to, you know, whatever level you are and where you want to go. And so I think that that's kind of one of the most exciting kind of killer apps of the agent space.
Let's go. Yeah, exciting times to say the least. Bootoshi, I know you're a busy person, so really appreciate your time. You know, look forward to working together on a handful of different related things. And also, it's been awesome to see your progress over the last 2 years as you've really become, you know, the AI guy in Bitcoin, but also seeing you network with all of the other AI teams and seeing you in a lot of different conversations. So really, congratulations, dude, and looking forward to the future with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me on. I'm not gonna lie to you. I faked it till I made it. I didn't know shit about AI 2 years ago, but I knew I liked it a lot, and I knew I would gain the skill set. So I would lie and LARP on spaces, pretending like I knew a lot when I really didn't know a lot. I would just kind of like spit facts about what I learned that specific day. But yeah, now I actually do know about AI. So I'm really a big pusher of fake it till you make it technology. It works really well in gaslighting yourself. But yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on. It was a super fun combo. Also, when am I getting that API?
Dude, soon. I'll DM you. I got you know how dev work is. I got we had a message from Shannon at like 2 o'clock in the morning my time. So somebody's staying up late, getting it done, and yeah, that should be coming soon. He said he was going to add the Bitcoin support to the Emblem AI here. Over the next day or two, change a little bit of the UX, and then we'll get that over to you.
Bro, can't wait to start trading with our Solana to your Bitcoin and back and forth. Is going to be awesome.
No, that sounds super fun. But all right, peace out, y'all. Good convo.
Thanks.
Have a good day, y'all.
Appreciate it, guys. Everyone that's new to the show, please make sure that you follow Emblem Vault and also Agent Hustle, who is on stage. That is our AI project, as we discuss over throughout this conversation. I was going to say follow Bootoshi, but it looks like he's left already. So, dude, awesome conversation, to say the least. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about market, talking about Melania coin and how she maybe rugged her husband with the Trump coin, all the crazy stuff that's happening. And then on Thursday, we have the New Bit team talking about Goldenals. So I think that is later this week. So appreciate everyone. Again, please follow the Emblem and the Hustle account. You guys are awesome. Let's have a good and fun week. And let's hope this is not the local top and that we have a lot more to come. See everybody tomorrow.
Later.